Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. This is Liz Fickenshire here with Liz Adamson. It's two Liz's. Going to talk to you about how to make the best and of the rest of Q4. So we're in the midst of Q4. Things might not be going exactly to plan. So we've got some tips for you today on how to just crush it for the rest of the time. We have a couple more people that are signing in. Hi, everybody. So let's get started. I'm Liz. I am the industry liaison for eComEngine. I'm going to tell you a little bit about eComEngine, and then I'm going to introduce Liz, and then I'm going to just let her take off from there. But if you've got questions, please submit them in the GoTo webinar question portal. We'll address those as we go. We'll have a Q&A at the end. This session is being recorded, so you'll get a recording of this in your email boxes no later than tomorrow morning. So that's exciting. Let's go. So eComEngine has been in the business of helping Amazon sellers automate segments of their workflow for, well, like a really long time now. Our first tool, Feedback 5, was the first seller reputation software in the Amazon seller space. So it helps you proactively seek feedback and product reviews from your buyers while keeping an eye on your seller reputation. Restock Pro helps you run your supply chain end to end. In it, you can see what you need to restock and when, and it's customizable for your unique business because none of you guys are the same. And Ecom Spy helps you make smart sourcing decisions and is super easy to use. We're passionate about helping sellers succeed on the Amazon marketplace at eComEngine. I like to say Amazon says to be customer obsessed, and here we're seller obsessed. We publish a lot of content for you guys with actionable tips, and we host webinars with smart people like our friend Liz Adamson. So Liz, I'm going to give the controls over to you, and why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Okay, sounds good. Let's see. Okay, so I am Liz Adamson. I run a digital marketing agency called Agility, and we focus on helping Amazon sellers grow their sales. And we do that through, of course, optimizing product pages and Amazon advertising campaigns, trying to drive more traffic to your pages and increasing your conversion rates. And we typically use a four-step process that many sellers are familiar with as you research how to sell and launch products on Amazon. With keyword research, optimizing your product copy for search, and of course we do all the design for infographics, EBC, storefront, and so on. And then our primary and main service is Amazon advertising. We're going to talk a little bit more about that today. So our agenda today, we'll talk a little bit about Q4 statistics from last year, what Amazon did and what the opportunity is for sellers. Liz will talk about inventory management a bit, since that is the foundation of any selling on Amazon strategy. We'll go over product page content, different promotions you can run, Amazon advertising, and we'll touch really quickly on off Amazon advertising. So Q4 by the numbers. Last year during the holiday season, customers ordered more than 1 billion items from small and mid-sized businesses on Amazon, and 140 million of those were ordered between Thanksgiving and Cyber Monday. So we've got that coming up in 2 weeks, and sellers need to be ready for that influx of traffic. Sellers on Amazon's marketplace, as you may have seen in the news, they've continued to grow as a total percentage of sales, of Amazon sales. So last year in Q4, there were 51% of units were sold during Q4, up 2 points from 49% a year earlier, and that continues to grow. And we expect that third-party sellers will again see a very strong Q4 this year. And then just total Amazon sales worldwide, North American sales in Q4 increased by 42%. International sales were up by 29%. And retailer forecasters are forecasting another great Q4 this year for both Amazon and other e-commerce channels. You may have even seen all the free shipping promotions that have been launched by Walmart, Target, and Amazon just kind of hit back this last week with their own free shipping promotion. So if you haven't heard about that, non-Prime members can now get free shipping during Q4 on any order. It doesn't have to be that $25 minimum. And so that is a kind of a big promotion for Amazon to kind of keep those customers coming this year. So how do we make the most of Q4? So as I mentioned, inventory management, which is the foundation of any sales strategy, and Liz will go over that. And then I will talk about the marketing piece of it, which includes optimizing your pages, which is basically search engine optimization for Amazon. I'll talk about promotions and advertising. So I'll hand that back over to you, Liz, for inventory.
Okie dokie. So Q4 is so busy, and you guys have to juggle so much responsibility. I mean, you do have to all year long, obviously, but Q4 is especially hairy. And inventory is probably the most important thing you can think about in the busy holiday months. But something that I've been seeing that I wanted to mention is that while it's important to stay in stock and get your inventory into FBA warehouses in time to meet demand, you also have to keep in mind that storage fees are higher in Q4. That means you need to keep an eye on your sales velocity during this time to make sure you haven't restocked a SKU that isn't going to sell quickly. And Liz is going to give you some tips on how to get those items to sell. So that's good and that's important. And I think that everybody could use some advice on how to increase sales. Um, and also, long-term storage fees are now charged monthly, which I know is a big shock and kind of a bummer to a lot of people. So in addition to the higher storage fees, you're also getting billed monthly for the stock that's been on shelves longer. So it's a lot to balance. And to top it all off, Amazon recently introduced the Inventory Performance Index that I've been soapboxing about for the last several months, if you guys have been paying attention. And your score needs to be 350 or higher to keep your space in an FBA warehouse and avoid restrictions. And so about the IPI, which we get a lot of questions about that, you have to understand that Amazon implemented this metric for a good reason. There's limited space in warehouses, and stock that's taking up space on shelves and not selling ultimately hurts everyone. Um, so I think we have a question. What is the best way to write a thank you letter to the customer asking for a review within Amazon's terms of service? And also, Mike, we will get to that in just a second. Let's hear from Liz on how to increase sales so your IPI stays healthy and so that your sales rock and you have the best Q4 ever. And we will answer questions about messaging at the end. Does that sound good? That sounds good. All right, Liz, so take it away.
Yeah, sounds good to me. Yeah, so and I'll just pile on the inventory piece. We've had lots of clients really just kind of be caught off guard by the long-term storage fees and the IPI these last couple months, and you know, we're seeing large fees coming through monthly. So it really is critical that you're staying on top of inventory and not wasting your money on those long-term storage fees. And so we're going to talk about how to do that, how to increase your sales, and we'll start with search engine optimization. Which means optimize page content. If your page does not contain the right keywords, for your product, if you're selling Bluetooth headphones and nowhere on your page does it say Bluetooth headphones, Amazon's not going to know that's what your page is about. And so you need to be very aware of what keywords customers are using. Customers are using to search for your product, so you can make sure that that is on your page. Another part of page content are your product images. With mobile, the rise of mobile shopping, we've seen just a big increase in the importance of imagery. If you can imagine someone sitting on a subway, on their Amazon app on their phone looking for something, they're often just swiping kind of through those pictures, through those images that Amazon serves them. It's the most visible part of the page on the mobile Amazon app. And if you don't have strong images, customers may just it may not catch their interest, and they may not stop and read your carefully crafted bullet points or descriptions, which are a little bit more hidden in the Amazon app, mobile app. And so when we approach images, we look at it from the perspective of, if I were just to look at these 9 images, would I know what my product is about? Would I know what features and benefits it has? And we combine we're using not only product photography, but we're using infographics where you are pointing out key features and key benefits of your products. And so review your pages and see if you've got strong product imagery there. And the same goes for enhanced brand content. That's also a little bit more visible on mobile than it is on desktop. And so as mobile shoppers increase, enhanced brand content is becoming more and more important. And again, it's telling a more of a visual story so that customers can capture that information more quickly. They're not having to read through paragraphs of descriptions to understand the product. And so you keep it kind of lighter on copy, heavy on imagery and infographics, using comparison charts and other types of more visual representations of your product to communicate its features and benefits. And I already touched on if your page is optimized for keywords. So you need to, again, just be very aware of how customers are searching for your product. You can use some third-party tools to, do that kind of research on, you can put in a seed keyword like Bluetooth headphones, and it will come up with a number of related keywords, Bluetooth earbuds, wireless headphones, and help you brainstorm different ways to talk about your product and different ways customers may be searching for it. After you've got those keywords pulled and you understand what those are, they do need to be in your title and bullets, but not at the expense of clarity. Customers still need to be able to understand what the product is. And if you're keyword stuffing, you see, everyone's seen those really long titles on Amazon that just kind of ramble on and really don't make any sense, and it's obvious that they're keyword stuffing. That's not helpful for conversion rates. So you want to get those primary keywords into title and bullets and make sure that they're really their main purpose is to communicate to the customer. So make sure you're being very clear on what your product is and what it does. And since we're kind of in crunch time, we're in the middle of Q4, Black Friday is coming up very quickly. And if you've got a large catalog, you may be wondering where to start. You can look at, go into business reports and go to sales by ASIN and look across your different products and find those products that may have low traffic that is, maybe a little bit surprising to you that it's not getting that much traffic to your page, or look for those with high traffic rates but low conversion rates. If they're below 5, 6, even 10% conversion rate, and there's probably something on your page you can do to better convince buyers to buy. Or maybe you're not being indexed for the right keywords, and so you're not getting the right traffic to your page. So look for those kind of, I guess, problem children in your catalog that just aren't seeing those good metrics. And in addition to those business reports, the advertising reports are actually even more telling on what's going on, because you can see exactly which keyword drove the customer to that page and whether or not they bought. And if they're not buying for a keyword that's especially important to you, then maybe you need to go back to your page and figure out, what may be turning them off or not convincing them to purchase your product instead of somebody else's. After your product page is beautiful and gorgeous and ready for traffic, then you'll want to consider some promotions. One of the big promotions that Amazon really pushes is lightning deals. And this is an image of a lightning deal from their deals page from a couple weeks ago. And you can see it's a limited time deal. This one was running for about 6 hours, it looks like. They've got a little counter showing you how many were claimed. There's a limited amount available. It's showing it's 30% off, and you can just quickly add to cart. Clicking on it will also take you to the product page to view more. And that's what it looks like on the deals page. Lightning deals, you've missed the window for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. That closed a little while ago. And we'll talk a little bit more about deadlines for lightning deals for the rest of the quarter. So as I mentioned, these are on today's deals page. This is Amazon's second most traffic page after the home page. And so a lot of traffic comes here and browses. Now there are a lot of deals on this page. I did have a client ask me if this is a sure thing, if they should start shipping in extra inventory just to run a lightning deal. And in my experience, I've seen a little bit hit and miss. We've been surprised actually at some of the products that really don't blow through in a lightning deal, and we've been surprised at the products that do. So it's worth a test. Just know that it's not a guaranteed thing. It's possible depending on, you don't get to choose the time that it runs, and so if it's running at kind of more of an off-peak time, it may not be quite as successful. The other kind of limitation is you don't get to choose, you can't choose from your full catalog which products to run lightning deals on. When you go to the advertising lightning deals page in Seller Central, Amazon will give you a list of recommendations. And it's a little bit of a black box why they recommend the products that they do. I mean, we've seen, we worked with a very small catalog with about 6 SKUs, and there was a primary SKU that was, it did about 30–40% of their total sales. And that product was not recommended for a lightning deal, even though it was their flagship product. It was the product that most of their customers were coming to look for. We'd wanted to promote it, but it wasn't offered. So you will be limited to whatever product Amazon recommends. It does cost you some money. Typically, it's between $150 to $500 per deal. For the upcoming Q4, they're calling it holiday weeks, which is basically the week after they didn't give exact dates, but it's the first 3 weeks of December, basically. So for those 3 holiday weeks, they're charging $300 for a lightning deal. When you run a lightning deal, the minimum promotion is 20% off. And you do need to have enough inventory to sell through the 4 to 6 hours. And again, Amazon kind of determines that and will give you a minimum quantity and say you've got to give away this much. And if you don't have that much in inventory, they won't let you run that lightning deal. Now, here's the dates I was talking about. If you do want to run lightning deals during December, these are the dates for when you need to get them submitted. So they're calling them holiday weeks 1, 2, and 3, and you can see the deadlines for those 3 weeks, November 25th, December 2nd, and 9th. So if you get deals submitted before then, Amazon will get you slotted up to run a deal during those holiday weeks. And when you're thinking about this and thinking about promotions, just know especially that customers really are looking for deals. I mean, you've probably already received, I've received I don't know how many mailers and emails from different companies, both brick and mortar and e-commerce, advertising this deal and that deal, and different holiday sales and promotions and Black Friday and after Black Friday. So know that other retailers are really big and strong on promotions, and running a promotion can help you basically play with the crowd and give customers what they've unfortunately become accustomed to expecting during the holiday is a good deal on one product or the other. Other types of promotions are coupons. So this is an example of a coupon here. I pulled this from the Amazon search engine results page. You can see it's very visible. You can see that I can save $3 off with this coupon when I buy this. This is an organic placement. If it were in sponsored products placement, you can kind of see the top of one of those ads right down here, but it looks exactly the same in a sponsored product ads placement. So this is one big benefit to running coupons, is they are very visible. And they'll show up in your advertising, and customers will immediately see that there's a deal going on, and so you can attract some clicks that way. You can run it for either 1% or $1 off. Amazon is telling us that $1 off is more powerful than percent off, that they're getting a higher engagement rate with those. And if you think about that, that makes sense. Everyone knows how much $1 is. When you start trying to calculate what the heck 15% off of $28.99 is in my head, it's a little bit more, ambiguous. So, test both, see what works for you. Just know that the $1 off is the data that we're seeing. It does cost not quite as much as a lightning deal, but Amazon will charge you 60 cents per redemption. And so Amazon, when you set up a coupon, and you do this through in Seller Central, you go to advertising, and then from that drop-down menu, there's a selection called coupons. And when you set that up, it will ask you for a total budget. And just to clarify what that total budget is, that is, so in this example, this $3 off coupon, it's the $3 for the coupon, and then 60 cents for that redemption. And so, so I need to be budgeting $3.60 per unit that I would like to sell. So if I want to sell 100 units, that's multiply that out, and that would be your budget. You can also set date ranges. I kind of skipped through that, but you can. That's the nice thing about it. You can set a start and an end date, so you can just run it for a specific period of time. Promotions, which have been around for a very long time and have had several iterations on it. The most popular ones are the percentage off, buy one, get one. It can be popular for accessories and things. And then the social media promo code is another one we like if you're running external, you're giving out coupons externally. These are not quite as visible in Amazon search. So keep that in mind. It's not going to show up on the search engine results page like the coupons do. Customers will only see it when they land on their page, and Amazon has been changing up even where they see it on the product page. So just be aware of that they're just not quite as visible. One big benefit to these types of promotions is you can create coupon codes to use in giveaways, to use in promotions off of Amazon. You can create percent off with tiered discounts. So if you buy 2, you get 10% off. If you buy 3, you get 15% off, and so on. And then there's the buy one, get one option. So there's a few more options with these types of promotions. But again, they're not quite as visible. We don't see quite as much success in them, but it is something you should add to your playbook. Let's talk about advertising. This is an example here of a search engine results page. And if you're not familiar with the recent name change, this top placement here where it says sponsored by Xstoria, these iPhone XS Max cases, this is what used to be called a headline search ad. It's now called sponsored brands, and that's mostly because Amazon has expanded the placement. So instead of just a headline search ad, you may notice when you scroll down on these search engine results pages, there's a skyscraper ad on the left-hand sidebar, and then there's an ad at the bottom of the page as well. Those ads don't get quite as much attention and traffic, and so we try to optimize our ad campaigns to make sure we're getting top of the page placement. But the result is, so there's ads all over Amazon here for this, and they changed the name to sponsored brands. And then sponsored products are these ads below, and you can see that they come before organic search. So if you're not using advertising, know that your competitors who are using advertising are getting the prime placement. When you've gone to the trouble of making your product page beautiful, of setting up promotions and coupons, your next job really is to drive that traffic. No one's going to see anything unless you're driving traffic. And if you don't already have a strong sales history and aren't ranking really well in organic search, you're not going to get any traffic. And so advertising is used to get that traffic to your page, to get eyeballs on your products, to start getting clicks and sales. And as your sales increase, your organic placement will increase. So you've got to be using advertising if you're not already. You should be using automatic and manual campaigns. I'm going to talk a little bit about how to get this optimized, especially for holiday. Sponsored product ads, as you probably know, they have both automatic and manual campaign options. You should be using both. The automatic campaign is kind of what we call our research tool and kind of our kind of cast a wide net tool. It picks up any crumbs that our manual campaign may have missed. And so it may not and probably will not be a huge revenue generator. But it is important in just kind of sweeping up the crumbs and getting just extra sales here and there and finding search terms you may not have input. And then your manual campaigns are the ones that you will use to target very specific keywords and control the bidding on that level. You should be optimizing every week, not more than twice a week. There's not enough data if you're doing it more than twice a week. You need to let that data come in. You need to let the data tell you what to do. And when I say the data, you need to be looking at your conversion rates. You need to be looking at click-through rates. If you see keywords that aren't performing, that should be, it's, you need to find out why. Is it your product page? Is it just the wrong keyword for that product? Customers just are looking for something else and maybe you shouldn't be bidding on that keyword. But look at your search term report every week and be optimizing for, based on the data that comes in, and be optimizing for those clicks and conversions. Sponsored brands, so I already kind of gave an overview of that, formerly headline search. One best practice that we do is we test different target audiences, and we test different landing pages, including the storefront. And a big thing that we do is we take the data from sponsored product ads to find those keywords to target. So as you're pulling search term reports from sponsored products, you should be looking for kind of clusters of great keywords, and then putting those into sponsored brands and testing those. When I say different target audiences and different clusters of keywords, if we were to use this example on the page, you can see this is targeting obviously customers with the new iPhone XS, and specifically it's protective and military grade. So it's targeting customers who really want a durable case. They're looking for something a little bit, perhaps even more high-end or really more durable than some of the plastic cases that are out there. And if I were writing this ad, so if this is what my product is and what I'm targeting, I would be using very specific keywords. I'm not going to be targeting hundreds of keywords like I do in sponsored products. I'm going to use a very specific subset. I'm going to target keywords like protective iPhone XS case, military grade cases, and all the different variations of that. That's all around the idea of very kind of hardcore protection for your iPhone. And so batch that into those very tight segments and make sure whatever keywords you're targeting, you're reflecting that in your copy, that you're explaining to the customer, you're kind of reiterating to the customer what it is you're trying to sell them. to back up just a little bit, we talked about testing the landing page too. When a customer clicks on this, if they click on the individual items, they'll go to the product page. If they click on the main message, they'll go to a landing page. And that landing page will include the 3 items you see here, plus whatever other items you decide to include. Maybe it comes in a few more colors than what we're seeing here. Or you can take it to your Amazon storefront. You need to be careful driving traffic to your Amazon storefront. In our experience, it's a lower conversion rate. However, if you've got a large catalog that you're trying to cross-sell many different products, it can be a good solution as long as you've optimized that storefront for conversion. So again, if you think of the customer experience, if they're clicking around on Amazon, they're very used to seeing a search engine results page just like this. They're used to being able to just kind of click through, buy, they're done. If your storefront makes it difficult for them to find the product or to add it to their cart, they're probably going to back out and go somewhere else. And so it needs to be a very seamless experience for the customer in landing on your storefront page, finding what they want, and then adding it to their cart. The last set of ads, I don't have any examples to show you here. They're not used by a ton of sellers. It's mostly for larger brands with very large budgets, is the display advertising. Actually, let me back up a little bit on that. First, we'll talk about the product display ads. Those are the in AMS, mostly used by vendors. There is in beta right now that's been rolling out to sellers this week. You might want to check if you go to advertising and campaign manager and create a campaign, see if you've got that option to create some product display ads. And there's some new targeting rolling out for that that's really exciting. But these are ads that when you may have all seen that advertisement that's placed under the buy box. That's what those are. And like I said, it's currently in AMS only, but it's rolling out to beta for sellers right now. And so you may want to try that and target, target specific ASINs, or even target your own ASINs if you want to cross-sell something. So what I jumped in a little bit prematurely was the programmatic display ads. That's the one formerly known as AMG or Amazon Media Group before they changed their name to Amazon Advertising. The platform was known as AAP. It's now known as DSP. And that's a programmatic display advertising where you can basically place ads not only on Amazon, like on the homepage and skyscraper ads in other places, but you can also have ads show up on places like CNN.com and ESPN.com, or there's about 40,000 different websites that Amazon pushes ads out to. This is for larger brands with larger budgets between $15,000 and $35,000 a month in ad spend. Very high funnel, but also a good way to retarget customers who were on Amazon and then left, and then you can show them your ad again. But that's an option to get even more traffic from off Amazon back onto Amazon and looking at your products.
Hey Liz, before we move off of Amazon, we did have a question from somebody who said, from what I understand, the promotions are visible if you have the buy box, so then anyone can have the code if the seller with the promotion has the buy box. Is that correct? I don't understand that question, but you might.
Yeah, so they're asking if anyone if you have the buy box, if anyone with the code can enter that and get the discount. That's my understanding. So I work primarily with brands where buy box hasn't been an issue, so I can't speak too tightly to where you're sharing the buy box with 10 other retailers. But yeah, they won't be able to use the code for any other seller. They can only use the code if they buy from you. So you'd need the buy box to do that, or they'd have to be able to find, go direct to your page and find you and use the code. I hope that answers that question.
Super, thanks.
Okay, anything else?
Not yet.
Okay.
So those of you out there in webinar land, please feel free to put your questions into the question box and we will tackle them as we go.
Awesome. Okay. So let's talk about off Amazon advertising. This is something that can be hit and miss depending on your brand and depending on who's running your campaigns. My firm doesn't do off Amazon advertising. We outsource that to other firms and agencies that do specialize in this. Because as you may know, each of these ad platforms are very, very different. Facebook is different from AdWords, which is different from Amazon sponsored products. And so finding an expert who knows how to fine tune and really target the audiences you want is going to be very key. And there's lots of options. There's Facebook ads, there's Google ads. You can do giveaways either from a giveaway site that you've paid to run sort of giveaway or promotion. That can bring a lot of traffic to your page, which can get sales jump started, which can help your organic search. Then there's just social media. Some brands will work very well with social media and get a nice social media following that turns into a solid customer base. The key is to know what works for your brand. Not all brands are going to be a good fit for social media. Not all brands are going to be a good fit for giveaways or Facebook ads. And so you may want to test. You may just want to do some research on kind of what your industry does. And again, you'll want to consult with someone who has been around the block a few times on this type of advertising and knows how to tightly target your audience. One of the things I sometimes see when someone who's not familiar with these different ad platforms tries to just launch an ad and get it going is they'll just spend lots and lots of money with very little return, because these platforms are very powerful. It's very easy to spend money. It's harder to optimize that and make sure it's fine-tuned for a good return. And the storefront pages, you can use those for conversion tracking. They do have something called insights. You can set up a tag that you kind of use as a tracker. It's not quite the same as the pixel that like Facebook ads uses and so on. But you create basically a unique URL that you drive that external traffic to, and then you can actually see what's converted into sales and clicks and things like that. You can also use those promotions from that screen I showed you earlier. There's that social media promotion feature where you can offer 20% off. It gives you a custom URL that you can then use to track those things. So that's it for the details there. So basically, just to review, watch your inventory, especially watch your out of stocks and watch that excess inventory. Make sure that you've got a good foundation. If you've don't have inventory there to sell, that's not going to help. If you've got excess inventory going into Q1 and your IPI score is too low, you're going to get slammed with limited storage, and you don't want that going into next year. Make sure your product pages are clean and shiny and optimized and ready for traffic that's about to start hitting us. If you need more traffic, consider running promotions, lightning deals, coupons, and so on. And you should definitely be running advertising. Kind of one more follow-up on that advertising that I didn't really hit is you may have already seen emails from Amazon telling you to, time to increase budgets and increase your bids, and you should be increasing everything by 200%. In our experience, all those emails from Amazon don't do much except to spend your money faster. Yes, you may need to be increasing budgets, but only be doing that on campaigns that have a good return. Yes, you may be needing to increase bids to be more competitive as your other sellers are doing the same thing, but only be increasing those bids where you have a good return. Don't be increasing bids if you already have history showing that that keyword just does not convert for you. So be very smart about where you're spending that money. Look at your current data, decide where to invest your advertising dollars when you're looking at increasing those budgets and bids for advertising. And that's it for me. I'll turn it back over to you, Liz.
That's awesome information. We do have a couple of questions. This page shows you some special offers that we're going to give you guys for attending today. You get a 30-day free trial to Feedback 5, 30-day free trial to Restock Pro, 150 free credits to eCom Spy. I'll pop those bit.ly links into the go-to. I accidentally just sent Feedback 5, but incidentally. So so that you don't have to memorize a bit.ly, because who has time for that? And then Liz is giving a 30-minute consultation, which is something that you can't put a price on because she's a smart lady and her time is very valuable. So I'm going to leave this page up while we tackle a couple of questions. So we've got one that says, sales have gone up, but mostly organic sales. Sponsored ad sales is way done and spend is way high. How do you balance this right now with everyone using sponsored ads?
Yeah, that is a really good question, and it's something that year over year we see quite a bit of. Sponsored ads are becoming more and more competitive. More and more sellers are using them. More and more sellers are becoming more aggressive. More and more sellers are probably spending way too much money on it and driving up bids unnecessarily. So what do? You mentioned your sponsored ad sales are way down and spend is way high. It's a matter of that optimization of really going through that data and finding those keywords that are working for you, because in there somewhere there's probably some keywords, and then expanding out on that keyword. So if you've got a keyword that's at maybe blue wireless Bluetooth headphones, you know, in the color blue is a high converting keyword for you. Well, get more phrases around blue colored, you know, Bluetooth headphones. Expand out on what does work. Make sure you're optimizing. Make sure you're adjusting bids. Make sure you're putting money where you are getting returns, and pulling back your spend on keywords that are not getting a return. And sometimes I see brands, you know, maybe they do sell Bluetooth headphones and they're just not converting on that. Well, stop throwing money where it's not converting. Find more long tail keywords. Really look for those long tail keywords that may convert better. Find different niches to approach. Try headline ads and see if having that message in that box helps create more customers. So yeah, it's all about optimization, all about reviewing the data, all about a consistent or constant keyword research to continue to expand your target and find those niches that will work for your particular product.
Okay, great. And a follow-up question to that, he says that he has one manual and one auto campaign per product. Would you recommend more to better target?
One manual, one auto per product. That's about right. That's how we usually like to get very granular so we can see what's happening on the product level. I wouldn't recommend. Some practitioners will tell you, yes, you need a high bid campaign and a low bid campaign, all those things. We don't go quite that granular. You can if you want, but it keeps it a lot more streamlined and easier to optimize. And I believe you still get the same benefits by keeping one auto and one manual per product. And then you just have to make sure those campaigns are working together. Make sure you're combing the automatic campaign for keywords or for search terms that you can then move to the manual campaign. And there's some other balancing you can do to make sure the auto campaign isn't taking in the bulk of the sales or the bulk of the traffic, and then you're sending most of the traffic to your manual campaign where you can better optimize it. But yeah, one auto and one manual per product is a good rule of thumb.
Awesome. Should I increase the coupons for holidays? Should it be every single item or just the ones that have the highest conversion rate?
Good question. It depends on what your goals are. And as for increase the coupons, I think they're talking about the coupon count based on that follow-up question, every single item or only the ones with the highest conversion rate. I would, and this is where inventory management comes in. I would actually start there, look for products, look at your inventory age report, look for products that are perhaps in danger of being LTSF. And I would definitely run some coupons on those to see if you can get those moving, get them unstuck. You don't want to be slammed with long-term storage fees. And on the flip side, look, if you've got a best-selling product that you want to see if you can increase performance even more, you can run some coupons for that and see if you can just capture even more sales on your best sellers by offering a bit of a discount this holiday season. As for the entire catalog, you could do that and see how things play out. If you do that, I would suggest make sure you're tracking your data. Do some follow-up and find out, okay, what products performed and what didn't, and use that learning to plan out the rest of your year. If you find that, oh yeah, my highest grossing products did the best in coupons, then keep that in mind for next year. If running coupons help to jumpstart your slow movers, make a note of that so you have that kind of tool in your toolbox to help with your long-term storage fees. And so just really take stock of kind of what your goals are, what products you really need to or want to move or want to see sales increases on.
Great. And then a follow-up question from that asker was, what is a good advertising cost of sale? They say theirs is about 50%.
Okay. I would say that's a little bit on the high end, but I would also say to that first question, what is a good ACOS? The real answer is it depends. And it depends on, again, your goals. I get asked this question all the time, especially by new clients who are onboarding. It depends on your goals. If your goal is to get top of the page placement, to be seen everywhere on Amazon, and it's really just brand awareness, top of the funnel, you want customers to be introduced to your brand, knowing that they might not make a purchase right away. A kind of a common saying in marketing is they have to see your brand between like 7 to 8 times before they'll actually remember the name. So that's what top of funnel marketing is. It's that brand awareness. And so if that's your goal, a 50% ACOS could be great. Everyone's seeing your product. They're not buying, but they're seeing it. If your more immediate goal is profitability, whether it's short-term or long-term profitability, whether it's small profit, large profit, then you probably want to lower that ACOS. I don't know what your cost of goods are, but I'm guessing at the very least you're break even and you may be losing a little bit of money at 50% ACOS. So you need to find out, you need to calculate what your break-even ACOS is. And so that means you add up your cost of goods, you add up your shipping costs, you add in your Amazon fees, and then that leaves you with your gross margin. And so your gross margin percent is equal to your break-even ACOS. So if you've got a gross margin percent of 40% and you have an ACOS of 40%, that means you're breaking even. You're not making any money, but you're not losing any money on ads. If you can get the ACOS down below 40%, then you'll be making some money. So you just need to review what your goals are. Is it brand awareness at whatever cost, or is it profitability? Do you want to be spending your money a little bit more conservatively and making sure you're getting a return on it? And if that's the case, then you're going to want to look at a lower ACOS. Generally speaking, we see products be very successful between 20 and 30% ACOS. That depends on the category. It depends on your product price. It depends on a number of other factors. But most of our accounts were running between the 20 and 30% ACOS.
Awesome. We have another person who's asked, if I want to promote my full catalog at 30% for Black Friday and Cyber Monday week, what is the best way to expose this advertisement?
The best way to make that as visible as possible to customers will be coupons. And so it's a little bit of a manual process to set those up. I don't believe last time we checked anyway, there wasn't any bulk way to do this, but I could be wrong. We usually set them up one-off anyway. So you want to do coupons though. That's the one with that little orange flag that shows up. It shows up on the product page, it shows up in advertisements, and it shows up in organic search results. And so everyone will be able to see that. All lightning deals is something else you could look at, but again, those are a little bit pricey, and there is a potential that they get buried with the other hundreds and thousands of lightning deals that are on that page. Lightning deals do, I should say, however, let me back up on that. Lightning deals, there will be a message in organic search, however. So if you're running a lightning deal, when your product shows up in organic search results, there will be a little note saying that there's a lightning deal running. So that will be visible in search, but they are more expensive. So for that reason, for your whole catalog, I would look at coupons. They're much more affordable, and they'll be very visible.
Awesome. Someone had a question about, I guess, Facebook promotions, and the question is typed, where are the storefront pages? Not sure where they are located on Facebook or what. I guess the question is, can you actually put some storefront pages that go to, Amazon on Facebook? Or school me, Liz.
Not sure.
What does that
Yeah,
mean?
I'm reading the question myself, trying to see where are storefront pages? Okay, I think I know what they're asking. Let me see, I'm gonna try and pull up an example and then bring it over here. So just, storefront is basically a mini website on Amazon. So I'm just gonna pull up, I'm trying to think what brand would have a storefront. I'm gonna pull up a popular brand and I'll bring it over in just a minute. But it is a mini website on Amazon. Here we go. So let me show you how I got here. I was on just a Bose product page. I clicked on their brand name and that brought me to their storefront. And you can see from here I can shop headphones, portable speakers, multi-room speakers, so it's got a good browsing structure. It's got probably some top selling products here that I can browse through and see what's going on in a carousel with some products. This is storefront. The only way customers find it is what I just showed you. They have to click on the brand name. Not a lot of customers do it, so there's not a whole lot of value organically with storefront, but it makes for a very good landing page if traffic's coming off of from off of Amazon. So if you're running ads on Facebook, you can run them either to your product page or you can run them to this storefront page where they can browse kind of a wider selection of products. And this is the one that I was talking about. It does need to be highly optimized for conversion. You need to make sure it's very easy for customers to find what they're looking for and be able to add it to their cart. That's one reason why we like these carousels down here, because I can easily just click add to cart and I'm done for these different products. And this is also where Amazon will give you some tracking. It's called you can put these tags and create a custom URL so you can actually see on your back end the traffic that's coming in from Facebook and whether or not they purchased anything. So that's Amazon storefront.
Great, that's super helpful. Thank you. Let's see. Okay, someone had a question about where something was, and then they found it. So good job on
Oh,
that.
great.
Someone said the promotions on Amazon, I specifically heard it about percentage off. So I guess this person's saying that they heard that percentage off would perform better than dollars off, but you heard that dollars off would perform better. So
Yeah, the promotion. So Amazon's language is really it's interesting. So when the term promotions on Amazon refers to a very specific it's not. They used to do dollars off and percent off. It only does percentage off right now. You can't do dollar off anymore under promotions. Coupons, however, you can choose either dollar off or percentage off, and that's where we're seeing the dollar off performing quite well. Again, it could, I would recommend testing both and see how they perform. But I hope that clarifies a little bit here. So yeah, specifically the promotions feature is percentage off only. Coupons, you've got a choice between either.
awesome. Thanks for that clarification. And then we had a question that's kind of not, let's flip to the last slide if we can. And we'll just tackle this last question. Our friend Mike asked, what is the best way to write a thank you letter to the customer asking for a review within Amazon's terms of service? And also the second and third follow-up emails asking for a review. So we did a webinar recently that covers a lot of the terms of service that Amazon has. The basic no-nos in asking for a review is you can't ask for a positive review, you can't try to influence the reviewer in any way, and you can't only ask people who've had a good experience, you can't ask your friends, you can't ask your family, you can only ask for an honest review. And I don't think you should send a second or third follow-up. I think you should just ask once the right way, and that's my opinion on things. Liz, do you want to weigh in on that?
I would agree with that. You have to keep in mind that customers are already getting emails from Amazon anyway, and you don't want to be bombarding their inbox. And so they're getting an order confirmation email and they're getting a shipment notification email. So they've got two emails from Amazon already. Add to that whatever your emails you're sending. You don't want email fatigue. You're going to increase the chance that people are going to start opting out. So one email follow-up is good. The exception that I have seen works well is if it's a very technical product that requires maybe a little bit of extra support or instructions or things like that. We've often sent the first email the day of delivery that says, hey, here's some instructions on using your product, and please contact us for help and let us support you and whatnot. And then maybe we'll send the email a week later after they've kind of worked through those instructions and better understand how to use it. Then we'll send us a second email saying, okay, we hope your experience has been good. Please, please leave us a message, or sorry, please leave us a review. So that's one exception where I'll send two emails, but for the most part, we stick with that one.
Awesome, that's great. Not only do we have the same name, we agree about stuff. It's awesome. All right, super. Well, I think that is the end of, oh wait, somebody asked another question. What about an email to refunded customers? If you're emailing them to talk about the refund, then I wouldn't ask for a review.
It could be a good way to get feedback. Like if someone did return their order, you could send an email and you don't have to include the review link, but you can just say, can you reply to this email and let us know what your experience was? And the intent of that is so that you can get that feedback on how to improve your product.
Yeah. And oh, this is interesting. What is needed to show your products as sold by Amazon instead of your company or store name?
Say that one more time.
What is needed to show your products as sold by Amazon?
Sold by Amazon. That you would have to be an Amazon vendor. And with the shuttering of Vendor Express, it's no longer self-service, it's invite only. And so Amazon has to contact you and ask you to be one of their vendors. And there are I could give a whole other webinar on the pros and cons of Seller Central versus Vendor Central. So we'll save that for another time. But the bottom line is there's actually no longer a very clear set of benefits that puts Vendor Central being sold by Amazon. It gives you better. It doesn't give you as many more benefits than being a seller. Amazon has actually leveled the playing field quite a bit in the last year on what's offered to vendors and sellers. So
yes. Okay, well, awesome. Well, we're going to give you guys about 10 minutes of your life back, but this again has been recorded. We will email the recording to you along with the special offer links. And Liz, thank you so much for joining us today. It is always such a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks guys. It was a pleasure being here.
All right, happy Q4, everybody.